Hey, for the 5 people still subbed to this channel, here is a little bit of a rundown of the new Evoker elite spec that we're gonna see. So, there's some good things, and there's like a lot of, maybe a lot of bad things, but let's just kick it off with the things that are actually pretty strong. And without a doubt, the bunny pet is super strong. A lot of damage, a lot of instant damage, unavoidable. A problem that I keep hearing from people I duel is that the pet skills are like pretty much invisible and they're pretty hard to dodge or just like see coming. So maybe that's something that Arena can look into. But even though this skill is really strong, it's actually probably not a good thing because it's instant damage, unavoidable, just not fun to play around or against rather. Another thing that is super strong for the Evoker, where I feel like 50% of the power of this elite spec resides into is the elite, and I feel like this should get nerfed because it's actually pretty crazy. If you land this on someone, it's pretty much almost always a GG. Of course, when I'm talking about these things, this is purely from like a world v world, roaming, small scale, you know, maybe duels, maybe 1v2, 2v2s, whatever, maybe some clouding, stuff like that, right? We're not talking about PvP here, or PvE rather. I imagine some of my comments will translate pretty well for PvP, since it's a pretty similar game mode after all. Yeah, this even if it gets nerfed for like a bigger cooldown, it's still gonna be super strong. And currently the only thing that kind of balances it around is the fact that the animation is pretty slow. So oftentimes people will kind of just walk out of it before anything even happened. This kind of puts like a little like skill cap on it, which is cool, but it would be better if it was just like a bit weaker. I'm not sure how Arena might nerf this. Maybe just a lower cooldown, but rather than the empowered skills, you just get like the basic skills of the pet. Because right now, this is like pretty crazy. Another thing that is pretty strong, I mean, generally like the pets are good, right? Like they do good damage, their skills are good. I have a support Ellie friend who says that the otter is pretty good healing, pretty good support, and like the fox looks good, the bunny is OP as we said. The only thing is the toad that I feel like I'm not sure why this is melee. All of these are pretty much ranged. Only the toad is melee. Kind of makes it awkward if you want to play toad, but your weapon is ranged. Because then you gotta go in melee range to use your toad. I feel like it would be much better if this was just like a projectile that your toad spits out, you know? And you know, it can be reflectable, so there's like some ways to play around it, right? Rather than the bunny zap. Yeah, this being melee is a little bit awkward, has a little bit of a delay before it hits. Same with the empowered skill as well. Maybe that's not that big of an issue, maybe it makes it a little bit more skillful to use, but yeah. The pets are strong, for sure. But one thing that is pretty strong is this trait here. Like, the reason why the pets are strong is because they actually make some of your more awkward weapons a bit more usable. So mostly the spear. A problem that spear Ellies have when they want to roam and stuff like that is that the spear spells, you know, strictly in like a smaller scale scenario can be a bit difficult to land because it's cast times and the radiuses are a bit awkward. Everything has a cast time pretty much, right? So just getting quickness, like baseline, is crazy good. Usually like on Spear Ellie, you aim to play Kata, or at the very least have like a celerity sigil on your spear to be actually able to like get your like combos off. But now you just get some free quickness, and that's pretty great. Also some cleanse as well, because the spear just has like one defensive ability and that's it. So this is a great trait. The other boons, I'm not so sure. They feel a little bit boring maybe. Like, if you're gonna go the way of the toad, so to speak, you're probably already gonna pick this. But we'll talk about these traits a bit later. But yeah, having your Spear 5 be charged by your Bunny spell or any other spell is also a great change. I mean, not a change, but like a feature of the pets. It's just like Evoker works really well with the spear, I feel like, more so than any other elite spec so far. And that is something that I welcome, okay? Because I've been trying to get spear to work for me for quite a long time, and I haven't been able to figure it out in a roaming scenario, that is, right? Also, like the pistol, I tried like a pistol build, a power one. Pistol has pretty awful power modifiers, so just having like reliable damage on the pets make pistol a lot more usable. So yeah, that's pretty nice. So like this trait, good. I don't know why you get Alacrity. I feel like ArenaNet like removed 99.9% of Alacrity from World. I'm not sure why they're adding it back to classes like Ellie or Amalgam. I'm not sure what other class, what other new elite spec has Alacrity, but yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, the quickness is awesome. Another really cool, I mean not cool, but like strong trait, like we're talking about the good things right now, is this one. One part that is, well, it's mostly the protection, just giving you like a free resolution on top. That's crazy good. And because Ellie usually doesn't get resolution. Like, you can only get resolution from Catalyst, from the water sphere, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's any other easy ways to get resolution on Ellie. So this is pretty crazy. The 10% crit chance on Fury is cool. And so here's the thing, right? And this is something that is also present here in this passive. I believe they're called minor traits, these ones. Like, I'm not sure why the Firefox pet just gives you a bonus to condition damage. I urge you to just have a look at all the Ellie weapons and their weapon skills. Fire does do burning, right? But fire is also like your main big damage chunk, like a big chunk, right? On some weapons here and there you might have like a hard hitting spell and other elements, but it's usually almost always fire that is like the big hits. So if you want to do like a big hit Ellie build, and like you want to like specialize in like fire, it's kind of awkward that you're just gonna get like condition damage bonus rather than, you know, just damage as a whole. I feel like this buff should just, the Firefox pet here should just give you like more power, more condi straight up, just like a quick easy fix. Same for this one, just 10% all damage. And then the air bunny can be something in between, maybe like 5% or and like some movement speed, or just like movement speed, just something else. Because yeah, the Firefox being like a condi focus pet doesn't make a whole lot of sense when the fire spells on Ellie are generally like your big hitters, usually, both for power and condi, right? So yeah. This trait is a bit boring. It's just improves this trait. I hope this gets changed to something more interesting. I don't like traits like this. I understand that like they need to put like the damage modifier somewhere for like a build to be competitive, but there has to be like a more fun way to do this. And talking about fun, I'm not trying to be mean, but like all of these traits here, I feel like ArenaNet, they were like, oh shoot, we gotta make like 6 more traits. What do we do? Quick, just make one for each pet. All of these are very boring, uninspired. Like this might be the worst trait in the game, like for any class. This one is okay, but it's just like bonus damage. It's just you pick this, you get like a little chain lightning. It's not that great. This is maybe the only one that I kind of like, because if you were to pick the Toad, you usually are maybe going for like a lightning rod build, and lightning rod, I mean, if you're gonna be like roaming with lightning rod, it's a bit hard. It's not like the best trait in the game, so usually you might go for like fire as well to like help you with your damage, but then you're missing out on like that valuable protection. So that's like one way to get like a good, I mean, it's pretty much perma-prot, let's be honest. Perma-prot, perma resolution, uptime on like a lightning rod build. It's pretty cool, but it is still boring. Like this trait here, burning deals more damage. You get might when you inflict burning. Seems like it's almost the same as this one, maybe. I wish it could be a bit more interesting. Same for this one. I know like you need to put some sort of supportive trait to kind of make like a support evoker work, but grant regen to nearby allies when you touch is, I don't know. There has to be something more engaging, something more gameplay focused, something that changes the way like your character works that can be done. And look, like this is like a okay trait, like damage modifiers, damage reduction modifiers, cool. But this is a straight out copy paste from the Ranger Wilderness Magic Wilderness Survival trait. Come on, we can do better. Like this can be more Ellie focused. Just, I don't know. Yeah, these traits are a bit. There's some okay traits, but most of them are just very boring. Kind of inconsequential is the word I'm looking for, I guess. Yeah, they need more work, that's for sure. And then and then this one. listen, I get that like people, maybe they come from WoW, or like they come from Final Fantasy or whatever, and they want to be like a fire mage or a frost mage or something like that. But man, giving up 15 of your spells just doesn't work in like PvP. Like all the like I'm gonna go back to this point again a bit later, but like LE weapons are designed with like a balanced budget, so to speak. Like some spells are bad, like this one on focus, because other focus spells are really good. So it's really awkward. Like they even said in the dev stream that they don't expect every weapon to work, like every weapon combination to work with this trait or be like competitive or something like that. But man, just losing 15 of your 20 skills, like even if when you use like let's say they made it so like when you use the empowered pet, when you select this trait, when you use the empowered pet skill, you get like a free harbinger elixir elite skill casted on top of your head. It's still not gonna be enough. Like you just lose so much of everything. Just LE needs all of its skills to kind of play around other classes. Like this is not enough. Like something that they could do is just like you select this trait, you play your LE normally, but like instead of an empowered pet skill, like you become the element, right? Like you do like a little shroud thing when you use your empowered pet skill, and you get like 5 thematically created spells, so it's gonna be like 20 in total, like 5 for each element. Or maybe they can even just do like not 20 but like 4 times 4, 16. Maybe the auto attack can be the same if they're not able to, but just like yeah, like merge with the element and you know become the evoker, right? Like maybe get like some little cosmetic aura around you, like merge with your pet, right? Kind of like Soul Beast, merge with your pet and like get some like unique earth toad inspired skills, get some unique bunny lightning inspired skills, etc. And then like you use them or whatever, like your shroud runs out or something, and then you just go back to being like a normal LE, building up your basic attacks, and then building up to go back to that sort of empowered state. I feel like that's gonna be a lot more fun, and like the best of both worlds, where like you're still a normal LE, you can use all of your stuff, but then you have this moment where you can kind of be like the evoker, right? So yeah, this trait is is a bit yikes, I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't know. Going to the utilities, like they're all pretty very lackluster, except the elite, of course, that we talked about, which is fucking which is very crazy. The like all of these need something extra. I think a big problem is that they designed each and every one of these skills to potentially be a stun break, which probably made them balance them in a certain way, where like maybe a spell cannot be too strong because it could also be a stun break or something like that. I think also maybe a problem is that they tried to make them like thematic to the pets, which kind of like boils them down into like a certain idea or something like that. I don't think that's necessary, but I mean, I guess wanting them to make like a bunch of new utility spells can be a bit too much work. But in all of the builds that I kind of like came up with, at most at most I used the hare's agility stun break when I was playing bunny, lightning bunny at most, and sometimes not even that. Like none of these are better than Armor of Earth or Arcane Shield or like Lightning Flash or like a Earth Shield or something. Like they're just not. Yeah, like what is this? Half a second block? Amazing. Yeah, the utility spells need some work for sure. So that's the traits, that's the utilities. We talked about the pets. I think they're pretty cool. They're pretty strong, although maybe a bit unfun to play against with the bunny, and maybe a bit awkward to play with the toad, where it's melee. But another thing about Evoker is the sort of mechanic where when you select a pet, its respective element essentially has no cooldown. And that is interesting, but I feel like it's a bit awkward for a couple of reasons. And you're actually gonna see a couple of traits that were kind of nerfed specifically for Evoker, having increased recharge timers so that you don't get to spam them every time you go into Earth or whichever element that they work with. And I feel like this is awkward, but it's also awkward because traits like this don't have this recharge mechanic. If you are a toad wizard and you happen to play Fresh Air or something, you can essentially have like permanent Stone Heart. Isn't that a little bit crazy? Like you can essentially have, we tested this a few days ago with one of my Ellie friends for like their little small World v World bombing group. If you have 25 might, you can, and if you play like Fresh Air for example, you can just Flame Expulsion non-stop because it no longer removes your might. And of course if you're playing like the Fox, right, so that the fire doesn't have a cooldown. Like, these interactions are not good. They can be a bit broken, difficult to balance, and I suspect ArenaNet will put these 5-second recharge timers on a lot of these traits. Like one with air probably as well. So if they put these 5-second timers, then essentially what's the point of having a 1-second cooldown on your attunement if the trait you're gonna go for that kind of makes your attunement sort of idea for a build work actually not be available when you go in, right? Like if they put a 5-second cooldown on Stoneheart, what's the point of my Earth having a 1-second cooldown if not every time I go in I'll get the Stoneheart, right? It's kind of awkward. It essentially maybe like you need to count like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay, I got the buff. I can go in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that's awkward. I don't think any other class has something like that necessarily. It also would feel very awful if, let's say, you say, okay, I mean, I'm not gonna count, I'm just gonna play it by intuition, and then you die because you went into Earth 1 second earlier than you should have, because of that 5-second internal cooldown that I suspect they're probably gonna put on some of these traits. And if they don't put a cooldown on these traits, that they can be like very bad for the game mode, right? Like imagine in PvP somebody like a Evoker has the Toad and Stonehearth and just camps the node non-stop and is immune to crit and is playing like a tanky build, what do you do, right? Yeah, so either that or they're just gonna nerf the trait straight up for every class for like core Ellie, which is even worse. But another thing is, let's ignore all the traits, right? Like, let's say you have a 1 second cooldown on your fire spells because you picked the fox, right? Usually the way Ellie plays, and I'm actually not even gonna do this on Spear, because Spear is kind of the epitome of this. But let's say we go like Sword Dagger, right? Like, we're going in fire, right? We go in, we do our damage, we go into air, we do whatever, we go back into fire, and we actually have almost nothing ready. Like, weapon cooldowns are kind of like, there's a few weapons that can get away with this. Maybe like a main hand dagger. Like, these spells have a pretty short cooldown. This one does, this one not so much. The burning speed, if you're treated in fire, has a 9-second cooldown, I think. The scepter 2s on the air, maybe this one. But cooldowns exist in this game, and I don't see the point. Like, usually you play Ellie, you use all of your spells, and maybe you save like one spell because it's an evade, but then you continue on, right? You continue on, you do your like damage or whatever. Like, if I'm in fire right now and I can do my damage, there's no reason for me not to just use all of my spells, right? And then I go into air. I have fire ready, but for what purpose, right? Like, my spells were like on cooldown. So, yeah, I don't understand the necessity for this specific mechanic. Like, right, even if they put a 5-second internal cooldown on all of these traits, it does mean that on average you're gonna get these effects more often than a normal Ellie would. Because a normal Ellie has like a 9-second cooldown recharge, you know, roughly, if you don't have alacrity or whatever. Or if you're not running Arcane. Didn't Arcane give a thing? Give reduced recharge, but yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't know. Evoker can be good. A lot of these traits need to get better. They need to be more fun, more engaging. This trait needs to be something else. I feel like the pets are strong. The elite is super busted. I think it will probably get nerfed, or people will cry about it. Like, the power of the Evoker needs to be spread out, right? It cannot just be in the bunny and in the elite. It needs to be like spread out. That's kind of the main thing, I suppose. That's about it, and oh yeah, aim it, please. Reduce the cooldown of Fiery Greatsword. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Thanks.